Hey guys, it's Oscar. How you doing? It's been a while since I did a shave video, but here we go. I'm gonna try to multitask. I actually got a couple things that I want to try to accomplish within this video. First and foremost, I'm using the clown fruit stuff from Phoenix and local Gent. I had this idea, this whole setup, because I found out, a little bit before everybody else, that, the pre-shave and that the soap itself had glowing properties. I'm going to try and talk and do this at the same time. And they do. It was pretty impressive, but maybe you saw from Robert Phillips's video, it does glow, but my phone camera just wouldn't pick it up. I had this, everything was going to be dark. I have a window in the bathroom that I covered up with a towel, and all the lights were out, and you could see the puck, and when the soap is blooming, you can see the glow, but it's just not strong enough, or maybe it's just my camera wasn't able to pick it up because it was still pretty faint. The glow was still pretty faint, so I wasn't able to pick it up. So I was going to, lather in the dark and hope that it would glow on my face, and then I had the nose on, but then I couldn't really breathe that well, and then I was going to turn on the light, and it was going to be a production, but phone camera, and it just didn't work out. So, but it does glow. It's pretty cool. If you haven't already experienced it, bloom the soap first. It kind of charges, the water kind of charges it up, and it glows. It's pretty cool, for Halloween time and all the spooky clown stuff. So anyway, so I'm applying the pre-shave. This is from Douglas. The soap itself is from Rob Phillips over at Local Gent. It was a collaboration. Evidently, they came up with this idea while they were hanging out in Seattle for that shave con up there. And I've already used it once during my failed video attempt. And the ingredient, the scent profile, at least on the soap, has wormwood, Hungarian oak, absinthe, neroli, amyris, elderberry, burnt sugar, and tobacco. Now, I'm done here. I'm going to, it's been blooming. I'm going to apply the bloom water, if you'll excuse me. What I get, first of all, is neroli and burnt sugar. And then it kind of gets that darkness of the tobacco. I really, really like it. And while you're applying it and lathering, it actually comes out more. I could probably just use this soap. And the slickness, I mean, it's Local Gent, and the slickness performance was fantastic. Again, it's that neroli and almost a burnt sugar. And so it's not, I mean, not in a bad way, the burnt sugar. You get a sweetness, almost like when something's caramelized, like brown sugar that gets caramelized on something. That's kind of what I get. And the neroli, so the orange from the neroli really smells fantastic. And I'm going to, this is, if you saw my post the other day about, I want to replace this knot. This is my charger brush that was made from Scott Pavkovich a few years back. This was my first custom brush. And it was when the Plaisans had come out from L'Occitane, and they were all the rage, and they were soap of the gods, according to Bailey. And I liked it, and it's really soft, but as you probably know, there's like zero backbone. The splay is pretty cool. There's like zero backbone. And it's a 22 millimeter knot, so it's really floppy. You'll see when I'm applying the soap, it's really floppy. And we were talking about whether or not we should deepen the hole. Rob Phillips, if you're watching, I'll tag you in the video. But Rob, we were talking about if we deepen the hole and set the knot a little deeper, or it looks like there's enough material on the sides that we could probably bore it out and make the hole a little bit bigger. You brush guys, everybody who contributed to that post, thank you. I learned a lot. I learned a lot from all you guys. Mason Rickmers really had a lot to say. Appreciate that. Rob Phillips said he'd take on the project. Darius Troth I know you said you were really busy, otherwise you'd be happy to do this project for me. I appreciate it. But, so it looks like it'll probably be Game Changer. I just thought the black knot of the Game Changer would look odd in this handle. So if we can figure out a way to maybe deepen the knot and just lessen the floppiness, then that would be pretty cool. So Rob, I'll be in touch with you about that. So, lathering now. Yeah, I get that neroli really pronounced again. And the tobacco. I mean, it's a fantastic, fantastic soap. Looks like I might have left, yeah, I might have left it too. I left it too wet. Let me squeeze it out. So another thing, I kind of want to do a tag video also. There hasn't been a tag video done in a while, and then even when there was, I mean, I was still fairly new on the scene, and I never got tagged except for that Movember challenge one last year. So the tag video is actually twofold. First is going to be, let me talk about Movember. There's not as much of a push this year as there was last year when everybody got tagged and you had to do a video where you lathered your whole face and your hair and everything, and you talk about if you had any personal investment in men's health. You know, with October having been breast cancer awareness, and to take nothing away from that because it's really a big thing, breast cancer and whatnot. And if you've ever been you know, personally affected by that, whether it was your mom or your aunt or your sister or whoever has been affected. I have a cousin who you know, went through it, and unfortunately, I mean, fortunately, she's cured. Everything's kind of in remission. Everything's good. But there are people who just aren't that lucky. And with October being, I haven't used this brush in so long. With October being breast cancer awareness, November, the whole Movember thing, No Shave November, takes on a meaning for guys, you know, for awareness for things like prostate cancer and heart disease and high cholesterol. My personal investment is my dad passed away 10 years ago. He had had a stroke 4 years prior, but his was an aneurysm, so it was a burst as opposed to an embolism, as opposed to a blockage. It was a burst instead of a blockage. But nonetheless, I have, everything's cool. I'm overweight, but really the only thing I have to be concerned about is my cholesterol. My cholesterol's high. I'm working on it. It's actually been going down. But that could obviously lead to heart attack and stroke. It's just something to be aware of. So the push is, a lot of the guys in the community have, it was being spearheaded by Christian Levesque and Douglas and other people, that there's two teams. Christian is kind of running the Canadian part, and Douglas was running the American contingent, if you will. So if you go to Movember, I believe it's Movember.com, but there's links. You can search for a team, and the teams with that we as the shave community were involved in last year anyway, and of course this year too, was Team Movember HitCam, HTGAM, for how to grow a mustache. Douglas started the team, so Team Movember HitCam, all one word.com, and then you can contribute to awareness, to research and awareness for guys' issues. I mean, when, you know, by the time you hit 40, 45, even 50, you really should be getting, you know, starting to get checked out for you know, as unpleasant as it is, you know, for prostate cancer and all that stuff. You know, my dad actually also had prostate cancer, but they caught it super early, and they were able to get rid of it. This was a few years before he had a stroke. So you know, do some research if you're in your 40s, mid 40s, approaching. My doctor said I don't have to worry till 50, but I'd rather just kind of, you know sooner than later, because there's people in their 20s and 30s that they find this stuff in. So, you know, you wait, by the time you're 40, it could be way too late. But anyway, yeah, awareness for health issues, for men's health, man. So go contribute. Team Movember HitCam. I'm going to do that here pretty soon. And I just want to get the word out there. Again, it's not as much of a push as it was last year in the community, but it's still something that's really important, especially if you've ever been affected personally by it. So also, I had an idea that I've gotten into the fragrance game, and where's my razor? Here it is. We're going with the prismatic again. So I've been getting into the fragrance game, which kind of evolved from all these soap and aftershave pairings, and seeing people like Peter Charcalis and a few others that are really into the fragrance game and matching colognes with their soaps and aftershaves. So in the fragrance community, a few months back, they had a series of tag videos which said if you could pick one perfume or cologne house to last the whole year, pick one perfume house and one of their colognes for each season of the year. So they would pick 4 scents from that cologne house that would fit each season of the year. And I've been wanting to do that as well, but with artisans and their soap scents. So I'm going to do that now as I shave, multitask. And I'm going to tag 2 people. I'm going to tag 2 people that will also pick an artisan that they like. Try to make it a different artisan than the person who tagged you. But if I pick one artisan and the next person is dead set on that same artisan, try to get at least 2 different scents from the 4 that I did, from the 4 that the person did ahead of you. Okay? So, my pick for artisan is going to be Douglas. It's going to be Phoenix Artisan Accoutrement. I have a lot of his soaps. And it was actually kind of hard to pick soaps for a couple of the particular seasons. Okay, so I'm going to start with my spring scent, because the year chronologically starts with, actually it starts with winter, but let's start with spring. We're going to go spring, summer, fall, winter. My spring scent was actually a tie, and it's actually probably my 2 favorite Phoenix scents. And you obviously cannot have one without the other. So the tie is Ultra and Alphine. These are my spring scents. Alphine and Ultra, as you know, Alphine is just sexy. This is just sexy. Ultra is gorgeous. It's just beautiful. It's more sophisticated. It's just this is one of those ones where this is my spring scent if I was stuck with one artisan, and it would be Phoenix, and this is my spring scent. My summer scent, just look. This is now Good Vibrations. This is the soap for the first Big Shave West in Pasadena. I mean, come on. What says summer more than the beach and surfboards? Summer scent. I'm going to keep shaving. My fall scent, I was torn between making Alphine my fall scent, but then I remember in the description of the one that I actually did pick for the fall, Douglas actually called it a fall scent. And I got it in the fall last year, a little bit before the November event in Pasadena. What happened to the November event in Pasadena? It's supposed to be the bridge between the Big Shave Wests. Hold on. I'm going to rinse. So the fall scent is, yeah, you see how floppy this is? I think the loft is just too high. So my fall scent is Harvest Moon. Harvest Moon was part of one of the trilogies that Douglas put out. And if you've ever bought stuff from Douglas, you know for the most part he puts a story behind his scent descriptions. Makes it a little more interesting and kind of, you know, clues. Like, for example, this is supposed to be a, whatchamacallit, when the letters are all mixed up and they make up different words. I forgot. It's slipping my mind right now. But all this lettering here is supposed to be one of those, and it's supposed to make up a different word. Different words, different saying. But this stuff has a little bit of a cologne-y feel to it, and I love it. It's fantastic. Harvest Moon. As soon as I opened it, I was in love with it. So that is my fall scent. But now this one is the last Big Shave West soap. This could easily be a summer scent because it's modeled after, you know, the old Sex Wax, surfboard wax and stuff. But what made this more of a fall scent for me was the oud. This is strawberry and oud, so there's a darkness to it. It has a fruitiness and a freshness, but it has a darkness as well with the oud. This was going to be a fall scent as well, but the Harvest Moon just had to take over for the fall. So, and finally, winter. I mean, it should be a no-brainer if you use any of Douglas's products, but it's definitely Sangre de Drago, Blood of the Dragon. This is sandalwood and oud. It's dark. It's awesome. It's gorgeous. It's sexy. It's. I've heard the term panty dropper from somebody there, Miss Rocio Gonzalez. But anyway, this stuff is fantastic. It's good. It's perfect for wintertime. It's dark. It just makes you feel good, though. It's elegant. And this is my winter selection. If I was going to be stuck with one artisan for the rest of my life, or for 1 year, and that is my winter selection. So I also wanted to, my last mail call was from Douglas. I shaved my mustache. I was going to leave them. I have to shave for work, so I can't, you know, not shave. But it's just routine, and while I'm talking, I lost track. So it wasn't coming in. It was like a week's worth, and I had a little peach fuzz. Anyway, so my last mail call, was all this clown fruit stuff, but it was also the beast stuff from Through the Fire Finecraft, the almonds. I got the soap and aftershave. And let me tell you, the description says this is a model, and again, in the fragrance game, this is supposed to be like La Nuit de l'Homme from Yves Saint Laurent. Yves Saint Laurent is one of the most popular designer fragrances, because there's designer and there's niche. Niche is like the Creeds and that stuff that costs like $100 a bottle, at least. But Yves Saint Laurent is one of the more popular, if you look at some of the fragrance reviews. It's called La Nuit de l'Homme. It's one of the more popular scents, and this is spot on a tribute to Yves Saint Laurent La Nuit de l'Homme. It's a softer soap. This stuff is some of the slickest soap I've ever used. I mean, and the performance. I had never used any of Through the Fire Finecraft stuff, but this, I mean, after using this, I'm sold, man. This stuff is fantastic. If you use colognes, you like La Nuit de l'Homme from Yves Saint Laurent, this is a spot on recreation of that, and the aftershave. And the aftershave has a little bit of a thickness to it, not quite like Ginger's Garden, but it's not as alcohol-y as maybe the PAA aftershaves, but it is fantastic. So check it out. It's sold out right now as far as I know, but the Beast from Through the Fire Finecraft, ttffcraft.com. The arm is Maria Armin. Fantastic job. This is awesome. So that is my video. I try to do a few things. Again, teammovemberhitcam.com to contribute for research on men's issues. Be aware of men's health issues. I'm going to tag David Gonzalez and Rico. I'm going to tag David Gonzalez and Rico's Corner. If you had one artisan for a whole year, 4 soaps, 1 for each season. All right. David Gonzalez and Rico, I'll tag you, and I'll let you know that I tagged you. So try to do a lot of things. I'm coming up on 20 minutes almost. Thanks for sticking around. It's been a while. I'm going to finish up off camera. Clown Fruit, if you haven't checked it out yet, I think Robert Phillips said he either has more in stock or will pretty soon. So so check it out. Again, Team Movember Hit Gam. Be healthy, gentlemen. Through the Fire Finecraft, awesome. Clown Fruit, awesome. One soap each season, one artisan for a year. All right, everybody be well. Take it easy.